Healing Waters for Women. This is our 11th year of doing this, presenting this to the world at large. We're so excited that you have joined us tonight. And for those of you who have followed us for the previous 4 nights, I'm sure that you're excited for what we have tonight. We have an awesome topic, and the topic is entitled My Man, My Money, My Dreams. Well, I'm Greg Stanton, also known as Asar. I will be facilitating tonight's conversation. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you, answering questions, and just letting this evening unfold serendipitously. I am a little bit about me. I am the facilitator of a spiritual system called IYSC Spiritual Center for Divine Living. It's um, a modified Christian approach to spirituality, expanded approach. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on this evening. And then I also work for the VA. And as my talent, I give back. I am over the employment for the VA here in St. Louis, Missouri. So that's where I'm currently located by way of Phoenix, Atlanta, and my hometown, Chicago, Illinois. I am a Master Force certified life coach with the 2010 class. So I've been in for quite a while, and it has truly been an amazing unfolding process. I've certified over 10 years ago, but I'm always evolving as I revisit the information that I have processed some years ago, and I keep it forward as I deal with my clients inside of the system that we've been trained inside of. How has it changed my life? Well, in the midst of life, as I live life, I use the principles not only with my clients, but I practice them. It has helped me through all types of changes, losses. Um, it's helped me apply these principles in such a way that I am living the dream. So it really has been an integral part of my life. Although I have a master's in counseling psychology, I have gotten so much more out of the work that I've been involved in with the Master Force coaching system. So tonight, we're going to be joined by two Master Force coaches. We have Qiana Thompson and Stephanie Nickles. Good evening, ladies. How are you all doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Thanks for having us.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I would like to get started by introducing you, allowing you to introduce yourself to the audience. And I will start with the lady up top here. So, Ken, if you can give us a little bit about where you live, what you do in life, when you became a Master Force certified coach, and then I'll probably have a couple more questions for you, and then we will follow up with our very own Stephanie. Okay.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm excited to be here. My name is Qiana Thompson. I'm the owner of Holistic Harmony, Mind, Body, and Soul, a solution-focused therapy agency with 100% satisfaction and building quality, passionate relationships. And I became a certified life Master Force life coach in like 2014 or 15. I always mix it up, but somewhere around there, I became a part of the Master Force family. And how has it changed my life? Whew, we don't have enough time. But you know what, it took me out of my own realm of comfortability and programming, helped me to really reprogram myself to what was best for me and my needs, and also my family, both personally and professionally. Like the tools that I learned at MFC, I use to this day. I teach them to this day, and I just, yeah, it's life changing.
Awesome. So, what would you say was one of the significant life-changing events that you use these principles in your own life?
Parenting for sure. Relationships, definitely parenting, I think was huge for me. That's actually how, well, in my health. So I came through Master Force through Tammy. Yay, hey Tam. Through detoxing, I was very heavy and sick, ill, toxic. And I learned how to detox. And so when I was in Tammy's class, Isha Debbie was also in that class too. They had just pretty much finished up their life coach certification and things like that. And so I met Isha Debbie, I met Tammy, and I had my son at that time was like 3 or 4, and I was having a lot of struggles with my little Leo. And I was like, what is happening? The first time I did this parenting thing, it wasn't this hard. And I got this little fire sign. And I was like, if I don't get help, I'm going to literally kill him. And I love him too much for that. So I reached out to Each and Debbie, and she said, we have Tao parenting. And so that was actually my initiation into Master Force, the Tao of parenting class. And then after I did that class, and learned some new parenting skills and learned to like really dig deep into what was going on inside of me so that I could be a better parent. Then I went to MFCs and became a life coach.
Awesome. Before we move into Stephanie, one more question I have for you was, what's your primary focus or your expertise or specialty, if you would like to share that with us?
So relationships, intimacy, spiritual readings is my main focus. I do tarot card readings, energy readings, and I help people build better relationships with themselves so that they can have better relationships with their loved ones.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we're looking forward to hearing much more from you tonight, Qiana. All right, Stephanie, how are you this evening?
I'm well. I'm well. Thanks for having us again.
Good. So we would like you to share with us like where you live, what do you do for a living, how you're using Master Force, how long you've been involved with Master Force. We'll start right there.
Okay. I reside in Chicago, born and raised. Graduated from Dunbar here, went on to Tuskegee University, repping my HBCU. And I got a bachelor's in psychology and sociology there. And then I went into the workforce as an HR coordinator, but I really just wasn't fulfilled. So I started working in a juvenile facility. And that's what prompted me to study social work. And I kind of took off from there. And now I work for the Department of Human Services in there as a senior rehab counselor for them. And I've been doing that for the past 6 years. So I became a life coach, a Master Force life coach in this previous spring cohort. So I am new, and I love it. And what brought me to Master Force was just my desire to implement something that was more empowering than my taught approaches to therapy and counseling. And I actually learned about Master Force through Qiana. Like we have a really good friend in common. And when I learned she was a life coach, I was interested in her credentials, like, okay, well, what did she study? What does she have? And it's like Master Force life coach. And I'm like, okay. And then our mutual good friend's mom, Miss Angel's a life coach as well under the same discipline with us. And I'm like, okay, now I need to see what this is about. And I talked about it for about 5 years. And I agreed to do it this past, before the classes started. I don't remember, it may have been in November or December that you need to make the decision to start in that February. So I made the decision to start, and it began like maybe in February. So Master Force has like really changed my life because I've grown through this program during like the most transparent period of my life, because my mother passed away the first week of January. And when I had to start this program, it felt like the heaviest of weights, but a breath of fresh air at the same time because of all the tools that I was able to learn for myself. But it really made me like accountable to the work at the best time ever. So that's my story with Master Force and how it came to me and how I came to it, and we here.
How long have you been a Master Force coach?
I came through this recent cohort. We just finished in a few months ago.
That's excellent. Mm-hmm. So what would you, do you know what your focus is, your expertise or your specialty that you want to share with us?
Definitely. It's relationships and career and life purpose. Those two lanes are really good for me to work with people to get to their highest selves in those two specific lanes.
Awesome. We have something in common. I'm into vocational rehabilitation. So
Mm-hmm.
that's in my life
Yeah.
at the current time. So let us get started tonight. My money, my man. So I'm really, really wanting to hear where you guys are going to take this. So let's start with the first question. And I'm going to I'll take it over to Qiana. When someone wants to manifest their man, so we're going to start with that, their money and their dreams, what do they need to do first?
First things first, you have to love up on yourself, right? So a lot of times you want to share love with somebody else in a very toxic, trauma bonding way. And, that's the way we've been kind of programmed to relate. So the first thing first, what you need to do is to remember that everything starts with you. You are the most important person in your universe. So if you don't take care of you, you cannot take care of anybody else. If you don't love you, you can't love anybody else. Love first starts within. So that's where we have to start at. You cannot manifest positivity with a negative mindset. A negative toxic body is just not gonna happen. Usually what we manifest, we can look around, we can see what we're manifesting. If you're not manifesting what you think that you want, then you're not as healthy as you need to be. You're not taking care of yourself. And so that's where you have to start at first.
Awesome. You want to add something to that, Stephanie?
Yeah, she's exactly right. But for me, when I want to manifest something, it's so important for me to be patient with what I'm manifesting, because if you're speaking about what you want and visualizing what you want from a place where you're not whole and clear, you might manifest something that you don't really need. So a part of manifesting for me, along with the affirming and visualizing, is just resting sometimes. When you need something and you trust the universe to give it to you, sometimes the manifestation is just in the waiting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So one of the things I heard you say, and I think we need to really drill down into that, when we talk about manifesting something, the very first thing I heard you say, get it clear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to expound on that? And then, Qiana, I want you to come back in on that, how that fits into how you start the process of getting clear.
Me? Okay, so if I want to be clear, I need to be speaking, thinking, feeling, and protecting myself from anything that doesn't coincide with where I think I want to go. I have to be brave enough to stand in that space when I have to transition into that different lane, because it comes with some change and some behavior. And then I just have to spend some time with it. And if it keeps coming up, like the program, and things that we know continue to come in our spirit, then I'm going full, ahead, bold. And then I'm manifesting that full speed, because I've spent time with it.
Qiana, when you're dealing with a client and they're wanting to manifest, and they I want to manifest money, or I want to manifest a mate, or whatever they want to manifest, is there something you want them to address in regards to what they say they want in relationship to how it fits in with maybe their life purpose, with who they are? And I asked that question because many times we see people desiring to manifest things that is from the outside versus the inside.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think Steph hit it on the head when she said rest. A lot of times when we need to get clear and we want to manifest things, we have to pause, we have to stop, we have to breathe. One of the tools that we teach, learn and teach at MFC is breathe to center, what we call BTC. So first things first, I always have my clients start off with breathing techniques. I told myself to breathe when I'm like just feeling like I can't figure stuff out. It's like, okay, you're not even breathing. Let's just stop. Let's just breathe. That's how you can first get clear. You first take control of what you have control over, which is your breath. So making sure you're breathing correctly. Also pausing and stopping, getting some rest, checking in with yourself. You know, you say you want to manifest things, but you haven't been sleeping, you haven't been eating right, you haven't, been out for a walk. All you're doing is going, stressing, working, or whatever vice that we have that we fall back to, drinking, eating, smoking, and we don't pause and stop and reflect. So I think the first thing to have people do is just to stop and get that rest, even if it's only a 5-minute breathing, BTC, just to get clear for a second so you can even see and hear what needs to happen, because we so cluttered in our mind with toxicity, we can't even hear directions from God or source or whatever, we call. But I think getting clear, stepping around the head with rest, that's first things first. Get clear, get clarity, be still.
Awesome. So I hear you have both saying some level of meditation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a particular meditative practice where you use to get into the space of clarity, either one of you?
Yeah, it's all a part of, I light my sage, I take my long herb baths, I have my teas, I do my yoga, I listen to my relaxation music on the way to bed at times. So I have like a lot of tools in my toolbox for getting myself in that space.
Yeah, all of that, what Steph just said. I'm real big on, healing specific. So I'll use binaural beats for wealth. Like if I'm trying to manifest money, if I'm trying to manifest love, binaural beats for, relationships, self-love, whatever it is. I'm real particular about setting my own programming per se, my own healing practice. So I definitely get into my meditation often, on a regular ritual basis, but also as needed. So it's nothing for me to be like, yup, it's too much going on, I need to go into meditation. Let me pull out my yoga mat, let me put some binaural beats on, let me just sit still, because I can feel I'm off center. So I don't, I'm very flexible in that, but I do have, my ritual spaces.
Good. So Stephanie, what does it mean to be open to receive when somebody is in this whole process of manifestation?
So when I thought about being open to receive, I thought about so many layers of that. And again, it comes with the mindfulness of knowing what you want, because we don't really want to be open to just anything. So you have to again start with that clear intention of what you really want, so that you know what it looks like. And when you're receiving something, you have to be very intentional about making sure that you don't have any old patterns or any natural subconscious ways that you think or deal that are going to stop you from what you say you want, because then you're going to get it and not know what to do with it. So being open to receive is about so much more than just wanting something and wanting to attain something. It's about being ready to, manage and receive what you are manifesting and go higher with it. So it's a lot of work in knowing how to receive.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that receiving piece. Qiana?
Yeah, you know what? For me, receiving, this is such a great lesson for me, because I've had to learn to receive. Most women are givers, right? We're give. We give life, right? We create, and so we have to really work on the receiving. And so the fact that we are natural givers, plus, the programming of that, have to be this strong, Black woman, right? This superwoman. I feel like we definitely dropped the ball on receive. And so I'm like a word person, so I had to look up receive. And so I looked it up, and it said to be given, presented with, or paid. And then it also, on the flip side, says suffer, experience, or be subject to specific treatment. And I was like, oh, suffer, right? Like to receive. So to receive to me is to be very vulnerable, to be in a state where you sometimes don't know what's going to happen, to let your guard down, to let your walls down, to let things in, not knowing all the time what you can get. And so a lot of times I know it's hard to receive because we just been hurt. We just trauma filled people walking in pain bodies, and we like, oh hell no, I'm already in pain. I'm like, I don't want your love. I don't want nothing because it's gonna hurt me. Last time I let my guard down and love it hurt me, right? So I suffered. I had an experience. So I don't want to receive anymore. So we have to, I feel like take the bitter with the sweet. And we also have to be able to create an avatar, our body that can contain, the gifts that are coming our way. We can't pour new wine into old wineskins, right? So we want to keep walking around with these old wineskins and think we're going to receive, and it's not going to happen. We got to let go of those suffering and experiences that we have had, that were lessons, right? And look at, the vulnerability of it as a gift, and not so much as what pain it brought to us, but what lessons it brought. What do we get out of, receiving the suffering? So I think people want to receive love. I just think that because we have been, like I said, trauma filled, it's like, oh, I don't want that because last time I got love, we got this suffering attached to it. Last time I received that, it didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. But when you know that you're the most important person in your universe, you know that nobody can hurt you. It's only lessons. And you are free to love freely, no matter what anybody else does, or no matter what anybody, how they love, you can love. So we just have to learn how to be vulnerable again, and take care of ourselves and set boundaries inside of that space, but to just really be open.
Right. And so you both started with almost getting clear and being intentional on what you want. So how does the conversation of making space for what you want to show up, but looking different than what you have been specific about? So do you make space in creating for it to show up differently? Or are you really just a hard line, this is that I want to create? So that's part of, for me, when I hear being open to receive potentially it coming differently than you thought it would be. That could be better. That could be a painful experience. So you want to speak to that?
Yes, I definitely can. It's like, I've always said I wanted to be submissive. I've always said I wanted a leader in relationships. And I've always been assertive, and I've always been a leader, and I've always been comfortable there. So this is the very first time in my life where the goal is mutuality, partnership. I'm able to learn how to accept a lead, because I'm dating a personality that's more grounded than me. I'm an earth sign. I'm dating an earth sign, a Capricorn. I'm a Libra. So I'm having to learn that stillness. And when I said I wanted that for my life, it really had nothing to do with what I had to do to receive it. It was just like, okay, well, I don't want to be the asserter, so I'm not. But in not being the asserter, I had to really learn how to listen and how to wait. And me thinking that I was just going to be open to receive it did put way more work on me. It was like more of my to do than what I was waiting for, because when you know what you want and you manifest it, it's going to come. So it's not hard to get what you are praying for, working for, speaking towards, but you gotta work to be able to receive those different things that you never had. And it's not gonna look nothing like anything you've done, or else you would have been had it. So it's a humbling thing for me that I completely struggle in. Like, completely, but I appreciate the journey. I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate the vessel, and I'm doing my work in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so I feel like when you put a thing out there with your manifestation, you're doing your manifestation work, right? And you say, I want to manifest this. I'm just gonna say man, we're talking about men, right? I want to manifest this man. I want him to have a certain, financial status. I want him to be loving. I want him to be nurturing, caring. I even went so far as to say I don't want an old man. I was like, I don't want that. I said I want somebody who's young and viral and but has his head together and in his career, right? I said all these things, and then literally I met him, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, where you come from?" But I almost missed my blessing because he was so much younger. I was like, "Wait, what? Like, what universe?" And my friend was like, "Oh my God, you literally manifested your love. Like, how can you put in an order for me?" But I almost missed it. I almost wasn't open to receive because I was like, "Oh, here, baby, like, go ahead, no."
Would you put that in a category?
So yeah, you to being open to the universe blessing you, however it is. Even wealth, like people be like, "Oh, I need money," and then you go into the store and somebody pay for your groceries, right? Like you have to be open to all avenues of how the universe is going to bless you because you just don't know, and you never know how people will bless your life in a significant way, whether it's lesson, season, whatever, lifetime, right? But it never comes in a package. It never looks right how you want it to look. Like if you go like, oh, I want brown skin, tall, 6'5", like it might not look like that package, but the manifestation of the soul work that you're manifesting is going to be exactly what you need, in such a way that is beautiful. So you have to be, again, vulnerable, open to new experiences, ready to like see beyond the surface of things. And that's you realize you manifest. You realize you always are manifesting. You realize that you what you pray for is your prayers were actually answered. So that's why you have to be careful what you ask for.
Can you speak?
You're gonna get it, right? You're gonna get it. Right. So make sure that that you're ready by doing your work. But you can miss a lot of opportunities because you're not open to receive. And universe is like, well, I sent that man 17 times, but you ain't even want to look because he was 6'3" instead of 6'5". Like, what? You didn't look at his soul. He had a heart of service. He, a great dad. He's, financially stable. He's loving and nurturing and caring and funny and all this stuff. But because he wasn't the package you wanted, you didn't pay attention. You just, you turned a blind eye to it. So we have to make sure that when we ask them, we're in a manifestation phase, that we are also asking to be clear about receiving and letting give discernment, right? Like using your third eye instead of just using these eyes, just seeing what's on the surface, but seeing what's beyond it.
Okay, so I'm hearing another piece that we need to address in manifestation: resistance.
Yes.
So we talk about receiving. So how does resistance play into this whole thing? We'll start with Stephanie, and then we'll work back up to Qiana.
Well, like Qiana just said, she was hitting on that good at the end of her conversation, in that we just have to be open and we have to trust the universe and know that what we've manifested is higher than us. So we have to kind of take a back seat to that direction and let it roll, instead of trying to have so much control on how we think it should happen and how we think it should look, because we don't know. So it's just like a humble submitting to life, and knowing that it's the beauty in not having control sometimes, because we could naturally resist our blessings because we don't understand the method that we're receiving it or the process. And if you want to have control, you're resisting the natural flow of how things happen. They're not going to be able to be organic or as powerful if you don't take your control off of it.
Yeah. Resistance is definitely going against the universal grain. So it's harder. So how you know you're resisting is, can I cut you? I'm sorry, I wanted to say shit not working.
Yes, girl.
you resist, like life is hard. Like when you are trying to resist what the universe has going for you, it's what we call it, the tarot call it the tower moment. Like the universe will knock all that shit over. Like let's just squash it. Let's just start over. Like just knock it over because it's just hard. You're fighting. You're going against the universal grain. So it's just like if you're walking into the wind. I saw a funny meme that said you're not from Chicago if you've never had to walk backwards in the wind because the wind is cutting your face. And that's what resistance is. You're walking into the cutting of the universal grain, like you're going against it. So nothing seems to go right. And I know this. I've been in the murky. That's what I call the murky depth. My resistance. When the tower moments happen, is finding like you have no choice but to surrender because there's nothing left. The universe will take everything from you. And the more you resist, the more this thing persists. It's like, oh, okay. You're not ready to give me what I want.
The lessons get stronger.
Yeah, like let's take. Oh, okay, I'm gonna take your husband. Oh, that didn't work. I'm gonna take your house. Oh, that didn't work. Let me get these kids. And I was like, finally. And I was like, I'm ready. Okay, no more resistance. I'm not fighting no more. I'm letting go. I'm surrendering. What you need me to do? This is like that altar call, boy. You'll be laid on the cross, crying, snotting, all this stuff because you're gonna put up so much resistance to what should be happening. So it starts out small. It starts out with warning, but the more we resist and we walk into that thing that's hurting us, trying to control, like Stephanie was saying, having all this control about things, you are going against your natural order. So when you start feeling some like pushback or whatever, ego type stuff is real huge in that. It's like, okay, what do I need to surrender? What do I need to let go of? Am I resistant? What am I missing? What am I seeing? And this when you start doing them check-ins. I do bodily check-ins, mental check-ins, spiritual check-ins. Like, hey, what's going on? Is this ego stuff? Like what are we doing? Why is it so hard? This don't need to be this hard. The universe don't want your life to be hard. What's happening? What do you need to learn? Let's get the lesson so we can, get back to the receiving. But yeah, like you have to really be open to that and be open to like knowing that what you want to manifest isn't hard and seeing beyond surface stuff, right? Seeing beyond ego, seeing beyond 3D, seeing beyond earthly stuff and getting into the 5D, getting into the spirit and seeing what needs to be done.
How important is it, ladies, for you to have a conversation with your client or with yourself as from the place of what I am experiencing right here, right now, is usually the motivation for a different manifestation. So the contrast that I'm experiencing births a desire for it to be different. Do you need to deal with the reality of what you're experiencing right now? Perhaps you created. So what you created right now, how does that play into preparing to manifest the next thing?
Yeah, you have to stay present. So that's one of the things too with manifestation, staying present. So you put it out there, but you don't be attached to the outcome. And that's another thing too that helps you like be open to receive how it comes. You don't be attached to the outcome. And with manifestation, you have to, again, it's about that surrender piece, like letting go, like doing it and letting go and staying present in the moment, having a conversation with yourself, like again, what's happening right now? What's happening with your body? What are you feeling? What pain body is coming up for you? Because a lot of times our body is communicating with us right away. And pain is communication, but we push it out. What's happening right now? Why is your shoulder turning? Why are you so tense? Breathe, relax. And when you get into being present with yourself, it makes the manifestation that much more easy, and it helps you again with your clients. Like you can tell, you know, I watch body language. I'm also a counselor by trade. I'm a licensed professional counselor. So you watch body language and you see like, okay, she or he is tensing up when they talk about their mom or when they talk about their man or their dreams, right? So you are able to bring the client back to reality because a lot of times things are past stuff or future, but it's just fear and ego. And we have, like, again, that suffering, that experience. So it keeps us guarded, not wanted to receive because of these experiences we have. And so we have to learn and stay present because normally at this moment, nothing's happening. You know, unless it's a crisis, an actual crisis. But in this moment, like right now, if I'm triggered, it might not be because of something's actually happening to me, but I'm remembering an experience of suffering, right? Like if somebody's watching this right now and they're in a relationship, they could be getting triggered by some of the words that we're saying, like suffering and things like that in relationships. And you know what I mean? So they could be getting triggered right now, but nothing's happening to them, but in their body, in their mind, they're being triggered. So I would tell, again, BTC, bring it back to the breath, and also talk about what's coming up so we can let it go and we can release.
Good. Stephanie, did you want to add anything else to that?
Can you ask the question again? I was listening. You know, ask the
Well,
initial question.
I was looking at it from the perspective of many people are into manifesting, and the catalyst for manifesting oftentimes is the contrast, or the thing that is showing up right now is not what I want to be inside of, what I want to experience. So they are moving to create something else, not realizing that they've already created what they're doing. So that's kind of like dealing with what you have. How is that part of the conversation of manifestation?
I guess it goes back to my initial answer about the stillness that it takes to manifest things. So if we know we have to be still, and we know that we have to wait to see the manifestation through. We know that it's not gonna necessarily look like we expect it to. That's a lot of information that we have to kind of get to what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard to remember that when you're living it out, and we end up kind of aborting our manifestations because they don't look that way. And like you said, like I feel like I'm living it out right now. Like I'm living out the life that I manifested. But because my heart chakra and my root chakra, which are key, you know, have been shook majorly this year with losing my mom, I have to do some of that work in letting myself know I'm safe, you know, I'm divinely loved. Because when those things are off, it's so hard to see the other things that are like there. So like I'm projecting that unsafe feeling, and I'm projecting that, you know, being in the world without that soul unconditional love for the first time, without really realizing this is the first time I'm actually living in a home in my entire life. And that is a safety that I should be happily getting comfortable in. And I am loved, you know, by so many people, you know, friends, family. And you have to remember that instead of that lost, so you won't treat your present manifestation that you deserve according to that pain or those weak chakra areas. You just have to build on them and do that work so that you can get what you manifest.
And see, that's a great segue to the question of, can people create amazing lives without dealing with their own darkness? So when we say darkness, it doesn't mean something diabolical, doesn't necessarily mean evil. It could be even, first of all, my condolences to you in the transition of your mom, which took you to a place of space of sadness, of darkness. And so the question is, if you could start with it, and then Qiana, you could pick it up. Can people create amazing lives without dealing with their own darkness?
When I read that question, I like sat in it and just respected the fact that in people's mind, they can create whatever they want in facing or avoiding whatever they want. And they can live in that for decades, away from those truths and away from the dealings within those dark places. But I personally believe that once you master those dark spaces and face them, that you bring a light to those situations, that it almost doesn't carry the darkness to it anymore once you have a acceptance of it or awareness of it. And it's some, darkness, lightness in a lot of what we do, but how we process it and how we manifest around those lessons and that pain, we really don't have to carry those experiences in those ways, in those dark places. Bad things don't have to carry bad spaces in us, if that makes sense. There's a lot of joy around what you learn through loss and lessons and things like that. So I personally know that I could make up whatever amazing life I wanted in a home with my education and my work, but complete wholeness and complete happiness is being light, light and aware and transparent and powerful in those dark places. And it's okay. I mean, that's seasonal. That's what life does. That won't be my last dark time. Yes, it's the roughest, everybody knows, losing a parent is the deepest blow, but I'm also aware that I still have to stay resilient because that's not where life stops. And my mom's transition is a gift. I manifested everything I needed around there by being aware. I was able to talk it through, be transparent, live out that truth, accept it with her. And we were able to see light, And if I wasn't as transparent or as able to be in a place of acceptance in dark situations, I don't think we would have been able to have such joy or peace in that transition that, So yeah, you really should do yourself a service by facing those spaces in your life, because that avoidance is going to come back up somewhere, work, friends, just not knowing how to cater to yourself. Somewhere where you avoided dealing with that is going to come back and deal with you some kind of way. Diet, anything is going to deal with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, there is no light without dark. First, there's dark. I don't, amazing is very subjective. I think that people can create 3D success. They could, accomplish goals and things like that without going into their dark. Now, being able to maintain, wholeness, being able to have great relationships. I talk to people all the time who are like what you would call successful in, 3D in our earthly world, great jobs, or great businesses. But then you ask them about their relationships. Oh, I don't talk to my mom no more. Oh, I don't talk to, this person no more. Oh, I don't, oh, my kids don't like me. Or, like, wait, what? Like, nobody don't like you? No, bruh, nobody don't like you, huh? Okay. So yeah, and I wouldn't consider that amazing life, so I think that's very subjective, but I also know like you can create success, but can you have joy? Can you have peace? Can you, wake up every day and do what you want to do? Can you have beautiful relationships with people? I think that unless you observe the dark, you won't be able to have those things because you suppress the dark, and it becomes toxicity. Like the dark serves a purpose. I'm a Sun Scorpio, so I'm dark all the time. And I had to learn that it's actually one of my superpowers, right? This is how I'm able to go to the murky depths, not only with myself, but with my clients and talk about things that they can't feel like they can't talk to anybody else about, right? So you have to like explore your dark side and see, how you can balance it, right? How you can get yin yang, how you can balance that thing. How does your dark actually serve you? Because it's there for a reason. and you have to get into it. And I think it also has a point of accountability. We don't want to acknowledge that we create the mess we be in. We don't want to acknowledge that it's dark in us. We just want to be like, okay, I'm successful. I got this degree and that degree, and I had this job and that job, and I did this business and that business, and I go to this brunch, and I empower people and all this, stuff, and all that is fine. But at the end of the day, your relationships are terrible. You unhappy and inside. There are people, that were millionaires and they're not here. They took their own life. There's a lot of people who have done that, and you be like, oh my God, he had an amazing life. Robin Williams, one of my favorite comedians. He had an amazing life to the outside looking in, right? But he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. He didn't have an amazing life to himself. He took his life. And there are a lot of people like that. So, you have to get your balance and get in alignment and hold yourself accountable for your dark. Don't keep trying to suppress it or hide it, but embrace it, because there is no light without dark. There was first dark, then light.
Right. And so that's an important piece that you both have hit on, that when you look at darkness in the natural order of things, it's important. Most things are birth. We are born, if we come from darkness to light. We're in the womb of our moms in a dark space. And then there's some essential things that take place in the solitude, in the silence that we don't get into. And so what I'm finding, people are using manifestation to run from the darkness, the shadows, and only thing they're doing is creating a bigger mess, because the universe gives you what you ask for, but you haven't dealt with what you need to deal with. So I think that's so important that we look at the darkness of our lives, the shadows of our lives, and then use the manifestations once we fully understand, what is this all about? What am I supposed to get while I'm right here, right now? So that's important. So when we talk about creating these amazing lives, and like you say, amazing is subjective. For some person, amazing could be having a bus pass every month. That's amazing that I can manifest and I give people that. And it's important inside of manifesting, helping people to become authentic manifestors, versus creating what everybody else is creating. My neighbor just got a new car, I want a new car. So when we talk about manifestations, the dark side is just as much as important as the light side. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So what are some of the tools that you use when you are processing, going through to manifestation? What are some of the practices, some of the tools that you use to set your manifestations up? And we'll start with Stephanie.
I guess my environment. I know that depending on what I want, fasting is good for it, because we need clarity. Fasting helps me clear my mind. Journaling helps me manifest, because I'm able to read back on those affirmations and say them out loud. Prayer for me, and spending time to be patient enough to listen to what God is saying back to me after I asked. So those are a few tools I use to usher myself into a place where I can manifest what I need.
Awesome.
I do a couple of different things. All of those things that Steph said, for sure. Affirmations are huge for me. I'm a words of affirmation person, so I have affirmation journals. I love to write in my affirmation journal. I also currently now, MFC is doing a 30-day money mind shift. And we're on day, I think this day 17. So I do challenges like that with my MFC circle and family. And I use emotional freedom technique a lot. I will tap myself up, okay, for a manifestation. And I do tapping for, of course, not just money, but also love. Things like paying my bills with love and gratitude, making sure I'm paying my debt, but with a heart of giving. generously giving to people. I do a lot of service projects where my heart leads me. It's a part of my manifestation to, they say if you have a problem, help somebody else with theirs. So I always stay in that mindset of generously serving, generously giving of my time and my energy, and also of my finances. But binaural beats, meditation, the wealth circle of wealth. I do circles of wealth and vision boards. I'm huge on vision boards. I have vision boards all over my house, and I'm excited to do one with my kids for New Year's. They don't even know yet, but I'm like, let's do vision boards. But yeah, I do use a lot of different tools to manifest and create the life that I truly want.
Mm-hmm. Great. You mentioned some great the things that you do, like the affirmations, EFT, that many people may not be aware of. One of you guys want to talk about what affirmations may look like and how you perhaps use them?
So like I said, my awareness about my root chakra and my heart chakra being off, I have to, one of my affirmations is I am safe. Safety is always around me. I'm protected.
How do you use
What'd you say?
how do you use that? Are you like, is it in the morning? Is it when you feeling a certain thing? How
I try to make it in the morning, but sometimes those are things that I'm just reminding myself all day. Um, if I don't feel patient, I'm reminding myself I have enough time. Um, Time is on my side. I'm saying things like that to just remember, just to challenge myself away from where I naturally feel sometimes, honestly, and just to feed that space. So it's throughout the day most times, and sometimes it's when I feel those things, like when I feel unsafe or when I start to feel iffy about how I'm being received. I tell myself I'm received, I'm heard, um, I'm understood. The universe definitely has room for me,
awesome.
and I challenge myself to remember it. Um, in our training with Master Force, we talked about the 17-second rule and things like
Mhm.
that. So it's like if you can go into that space for that consistent time with those positive affirmations, and those it's hard to come out of like a straight minute of I'm well and the world has room for me and I'm excellent in my pursuits, and it's hard to do that for a straight minute and still be doubtful. So that's some powerful stuff.
So that's great practice. Qiana, how about you? You mentioned some of like EFT, and for our audience who doesn't know what that is, can you give a for dummies? What
So
technique?
yeah, EFT is known as emotional freedom technique. It's a physical technique where you tap your meridian points inside of your face, and your chest and under your arms. There are certain vortexes or energy spots in your body that holds emotions. And so what you do as emotional freedom technique is that you're tapping to loosen up that energy, but you're also affirming at the same time, and you are holding yourself accountable for what's happening. So a lot of times we'll say things like, even though, you know, um, even though I'm feeling anxiety, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I'm feeling unhealthy, I choose to love and honor myself. So it's holding yourself accountable, and it's also affirming, what you want. And then it's a physical thing. You're actually tapping spots on side of your face, and like I said, like upper body. To release the emotion inside of your body that you're holding on to, because those things cause disease, it cause illness, discomfort. And so this helps in that. So not just, manifesting, which is beautiful, but it's also really good for your health, your emotional and your physical health.
Awesome. So tonight's topic is my man, my money, and my dreams. And so a lot of people tuning in because they like, okay, I need an answer. I need a solution. So let's talk a little bit about, have you ever manifested something? This is going to be a two-part, and I'm only going to give you the first part, and then we're going to come back to the second part. Can you talk about something you've manifested? Something that's been significant to you that you actually intentionally manifested. Can you share that with us? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
I don't know. I've manifested a lot of things for myself. I manifested, we're talking about my
Money,
dreams, my money.
my dream.
I've manifested them all. Like at this point in my life, I'm probably in the best position for myself financially.
So you live in a dream.
I feel like now
Okay.
I'm living exactly what I've asked for. Exactly. And I've manifested my environment. I've manifested the village that I need for myself, my circle, from younger years, having longevity in friendships, longevity in relationships. I've manifested that higher level of accountability in my relationships. Um, I've manifested a quicker pace for myself in love, by knowing what I want and expecting to see progress in those things instead of being laxed with life, just being more bold and radical with it. I've manifested things that I've needed down to the dollar amount and saying to the universe, I only have this much. And I've been saying it for days and days. This is what I have. And I've been given an amount 4 times of what I thought, it should be. And I don't care what they asking me for. I know what I got, Lord. So, you all gonna have to work that out. You can call me back. And they've like called me back with the exact amount. It's been like freaky. Like that amount was literally low. Dreams and all. I would get up like I saw this and I saw a balcony and this was happening. I couldn't figure it out. And then when it came, it's like, this is exactly what I said. And about the money, like I will legit sit in my home and say, I need to be able to know how to manage more money and be obedient, with it. And then Shemsu-t sent a 30-day thing about money, and it's talking about the same things I was just saying. So I definitely believe in the power of manifesting things. It's always all around you if you like stay ready and stay bold. And you're not waiting on situations to be perfect, to be in them. You can see it happening so much faster.
Qiana, what have you manifested?
You know what, is this such a wonderful thing. Well, me and Steph was talking earlier, and I was saying, like, I literally wake up every day and do what I want to do. Whether that's work hard, take a nap, do nothing, go work out, eat good food, eat a little bad food, whatever it is, literally I want to do every single day. I do it, and I'm covered financially. And in love, and I'm, in my dream, and I'm still building my dream. So I remember a one time, this had to be maybe like a year or so ago. So in 2017, I lost a lot. And I remember saying, like, God, I'm going to do right this time. You get to those conversations, right? I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm going to do right this time. And I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do my work. I'm going to go to Murphy Desk. And so I said, I just want to make money in my sleep. I don't want to have to worry about money. And literally today I make money in my sleep. I wake up and I'm just so grateful. And I have so much gratitude because I wake up, so I'm like, I cashed out, I need to read it. Here go this, pay invoices, or a recurring membership, like I literally, or a book or whatever, right? So I'm just like, man, I remember I said I just want to make money in my sleep. I just want to just like be open to the flow of however it comes, and I have that. My house was in foreclosure, and I was like, God, what I'm gonna do, Lord, what you doing to me? What you doing to me? And my credit score was so bad. I just told my friends, I wish I would have screenshotted my credit score when it was like 400 or something.
Stop playing.
Yeah, no, really, it was bad. It was bad. Some people, I go to the Murphy Depths and I tell the truth. I tell it all. Like all this, they're like, oh, you're so cute. Yeah, let me tell you about this dark stuff that happened to me. So yeah, I was in foreclosure and my credit score was like 400 and my bank account was negative. Fast forward 2 years later, I'm almost at 700. My house is out of foreclosure. My bank account is good. My relationships are good. Even with my man at that time, right? Like that relationship, was bad and it's transitioned to something else now. But even in that, like that relationship is good. We're still very good friends, and co-parents. So
did the potential loss or even perhaps the loss have any benefits to it?
Oh yeah, loss is good. So because we're so programmed to think like if we fail, we're failures, right? If something needs to transition is a story of my life. I'm a Scorpio. I literally die every day, right? So that's what I'm saying. You have to be okay with your dark and figure out what it is and how does it help you. I literally transition and transform every single day. So for me to fail was also for me to learn, not for me to stay, consider myself a failure and beat myself up. It's to be very gentle with myself and to learn and say, okay, what I need to do now, what I need to do different, how can I fix this? And a lot of times we do have to, like I said, I had to surrender because I was trying to like fix the marriage, say the house, say the kids, and I was dying. Right, but not in my transitional way. Like I was literally dying. I was unhealthy. I had started putting weight back on, and I was like stressed out, and trying to take care of everybody else. And I really had to just surrender and just look at like what's happening. Stop looking at stuff as a failure. Even my business was not. That was very dormant. I had not even was chasing my dreams anymore because I was so busy trying to fix and make sure everybody else was good. So, there's definitely some stuff in failing because I had to be at the rock bottom so I could really look up. Like sometimes you got to get down there and you're like, oh, okay, well, let me see what I need to do down here, what kind of work I need to do. And so for me, remembering that was the most important part of my universe is where I really started taking control back of my health. My health is my wealth. And so even before this show, I was like, you know what, I got to hit this gym. I ain't been in the gym. Let me go take care of what I need to take care of. So I took care of that. So my health is my wealth. So when all that's fail around me, I had nothing. I had me and God. That was it. Like it was like no, even my friendships had moved and transitioned in different ways. I had a friend who lost her son to gun violence. She wasn't available to me, right? My mom moved, to Tampa. She wasn't available to me. No other friend moved to Argentina. All this was happening at the same time. All this was happening at the same time, right? So I was like, okay, what's happening? And the universe was like, yeah, I just wanted to be me and you. And I, of course, at that time, I was just like, please don't let it be me and you. Please don't let it be me and you. But I surrendered and I let go and I just let me and God in complete dark in the mud. And I just let that mud now just transform me. I learned from all my failures. I learned from all the lessons. And it really propelled me to bring work and myself, and everything else just kind of like I manifested and fell into place and just worked out because I had the strength to let go.
Mm-hmm. So we can see it's like beauty for ashes. In the loss, something beautiful comes forward, and it gives you. It's like going to the gym and building a muscle. Okay, so you get used to 10 pounds, then your trainer gives you 25 and you can't do it, but you work up to it. And so you learn through what we call losses and not to be in judgments, like saying, because I lost this, or this is a season that's dry, there's not a punishment associated with it. And that's a big part of helping people to get into creations, getting out of these spiritual constructs or religious constructs that says that God gave you this because you did something wrong. And that's a big one. This is my topic, manifesting. I've manifested millions, new cars with no S500s with no car payments, and I lost it all. and was in gratitude to catch the bus, get a bus pass. Nobody knew I was going through that. One, I may have had a little bit of embarrassment, but I also knew I didn't want a pity party. So I just sucked it up and lived my best life inside of where I was at. So this whole manifesting thing it's almost like the game of life. So let me ask you this. When do you know you're on the right track? We'll start with you, Stephanie.
You know you're on the right track when it's clear, when you're not in conflict with the universe, when you're not in conflict with yourself, when what you see is what you feel, is what you know, is what you, when you get all of that in tune, you get one area of your life in order, and it's like everything falls in order after that if you just focus on that problematic thing. So like I said earlier, I'd be sitting in here telling my partner, like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to say it like this and we got to be intentional about this. And then the very next day it's being reinforced back to me. So that's how I know I'm on the right track, when everything is in line.
So the universe responds to you like, yeah, 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 go, go, go. So
Yeah.
it gives you little breadcrumbs along the way. Awesome. How about you? How do you know when you're on the right track, Qiana?
I think stuff is right on it, right on it. I
You're,
feel like when you're in a
Qiana,
mindset,
you're kind of fading out. You're kind of fading out. We're losing your voice. Is something over your mic?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, great, great.
Okay. I feel like when you're happy, and not because no one else made you happy. I had a flat tire the other day, and I just like, yeah, it's a flat tire, right? But I was so happy. I called my, insurance. They came and fixed the tire. I went to Sam's. I ordered the tire. When you are just happy from the inside, even when circumstances and situations happen that are not so, happy in the moment, even in that moment, you still have joy, you still have happiness. That's when when you just have the inner joy. Nothing can take it from you. Nobody can take it from you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can't even explain it to people. People could be like, well, you've been through this, that, and the third. You just had a flat tire. Like, why are you still smiling? And you just like, because my joy comes from inside. Like, I'm happy. Like, you can't even explain it. You just know it's just a feeling that you feel. People walk around mean mugging all the time. I mean, like, why are you angry? Like, what's wrong? But I even heard somebody say, like, why is somebody smiling? Like, are they crazy?
Your joy.
Yeah.
I smile all the time. I would laugh because I crack myself up, right? So I would bust out in laughter. And people probably be like, is she crazy? No, I'm happy. I'm in the mind. I'm manifesting. I'm creating.
Yeah.
So, and you attract people when you're on different frequencies, when you get higher frequency, higher vibration, you attract and manifest things, right? So now we're on different frequency. You start attracting a people that's, angels on earth that's here to bless you and help you. So, like she was saying, like, oh, she thinking about money, then Shemsu, like, oh, let's do it here, download this book, let's do a money, thing together. Like, oh, okay. I, need a refrigerator. I went out, I found a black-owned used refrigerator shop. I was like, you guys are black-owned by women? It was cold-blooded. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm so excited to buy the refrigerator for you guys. I've been all over, and I couldn't find what I needed. I go into there, find a perfect one in my price range, sign it up, done, sealed deal, and it's black-owned, owned by some beautiful women. So I was like, wow, like when you, are manifesting and your frequency getting in alignment, things will just attract to you. You don't have to chase anything. And I think that's the actual beauty of it. It's just like, oh, you'll meet people that you wasn't expecting to meet, or money comes to you in ways you wasn't expecting to come. Love comes to you in ways that you wasn't expecting for love to come. It's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I hear you say, you mentioned joy, you mentioned happiness, and then there was some gratitude there. And I'd like to always make sure clients are aware that happiness is usually conditioned upon what's going on around us. Well, joy is kind of like that thing of in spite of, and that leads into gratitude. And we're at a time where people are losing a lot. There's a lot of losses, a lot of changes, a lot of death. And so gratitude as a practice inside of manifestation. So sometimes people miss that, to be grateful where you are with what you have, appreciative of it, and then things begin to just open up from there. Oh, that's wonderful. So we can all say that it's a commonplace as creators or manifestors that you're going to lose, or there will be times that it appears though there's losses. But with every loss, would you say there's something to be gained in them?
For
Okay.
sure.
It strengthens it. Okay. What do you do to keep yourself focused, particularly on your dreams? We'll start with you, Stephanie.
Um, when I think about having to stay focused on my dreams, I think about, for me, healing. I think about, because life is tricky, and sometimes our dreams get tainted depending on what we're going through and our hopes. Sometimes we can't, because we're talking about those dark places,
Mhm.
not, our highest functioning self. But sometimes when life gets rough, our dreams and our hopes and things can kind of be skewed.
Right.
So, when I want to protect my dreams, I like consider the healer's path in it. I'm aware of my mental, my emotional, um, my physical, my spiritual, and I stay there because those places are usually higher than what I feel on a basic level. Um, and it humbles me to go back to a realm that's outside of me. It humbles me to stay hopeful because it's being hopeful past what we see and past our present, because our dreams manifest things beyond um, our current place. And for me, it's just about a humbling to know that no matter what I feel and no matter what situation I'm facing, life has a better than within it for me, because I can still see it. I can still be hopeful. I can still be in those darkest places and see my best self and say, okay, it's me. I have to protect that energy. I can't grow too guarded and I can't grow too rigid. I have to stay humble, because my dreams show me in a lighter way.
Right.
So, um, in order to protect my dreams, I really stay far away from the surface in this day to day, because it's a lot of chaos going on and it's a lot of transition in my own spirit. So I just focus on having compassion for myself in that worldly realm, because and then I protect that spirit realm and those dreams in my higher space. I keep all of this crap like away from it and know that that higher space and those dreams and that drive is what I use to make these worldly realms better for me. So protecting my dreams is being completely in tune with myself in all parts of myself, and also being aware of reality and not being faint when I have to sit through the transition of them both.
Okay. What do you do for your dreams, Qiana?
Um, for me, it's very important that I stay anchored to something bigger and spirit larger outside of myself, because I have gotten lost inside of relationships. My dreams have gotten lost and put to the wayside. I played small for a very very long time, especially with my spiritual gifts. It wasn't something that I I've been reading cards since like 2000, like 11, 10, right? I didn't start really going public with it until 2000, like 18, 19. I would just do it for fun. Like when our mutual friend was like, people want you to read the cards, come to the party, read the cards. And I'm like, oh, okay. But people, would be like, oh my God, you devil worshiper and things like that. And so I played small for other people for a very long time. I diminished myself because even inside of my relationship at the time, my partner was like, what, get your head out of the clouds. You're playing with cards all day. You need to get the 9 to 5. Like you need to get a 9 to 5. You got a degree, you got a master's degree, go get a job. So me staying focused and true to me is very important. Staying anchored in gratitude and appreciation of who I am, my gifts, who's in my life, the people that are in my life, whether, good, bad, or different. I know everybody's there for a reason, but staying inside of that gratitude and that appreciation is like my anchor. Not taking anybody for granted, even, clients and people who will watch me every week. Like, I know they could be anywhere else in the world, but they choose to spend their time with me for the 30, 40 minutes or whatever that we do the reading, right? So staying inside of that helps to keep me focused. And I am a leader of leaders, right? So, I stay committed to my spiritual evolution because it's not even about me. The lessons that I go through aren't about me. I have to lead by example. That's my life purpose. I have to go through everything that I go through. I have to be authentic. When I fight against that, that's that me walking into that wind, that resistance. When I don't share, when I don't say, oh girl, let me say, we can talk about that. I've been there. Let me help you out, right? I share a huge part of my dark and my murky depths because it helps people. So I have to remember that even in my darkest times, that this thing is not for me. It's so that I can go through it and transition and transform so that I can help other people. So I stay in gratitude for all of that because I used to look at it like, oh my God, why me? Why do people have to keep come talking to me? Like, people talking to me since I was a kid. When I started riding the bus, I would be on the bus stop going to school, going to high school. I'm like 14, 15, and grown people would just come and start talking to me about stuff. And I'm like, why are they telling me this stuff? Like, I never knew, my gifts at that time. I no one told me like, well, you're a healer, you're a counselor. And I was like, they telling me stuff and I don't understand like why. And but everything, is I used to like feel like it was a curse. And now I realize today how much of a blessing, how beautiful it is to be able to serve in this way. And so that's the part I have to stay anchored to. I have to stay anchored to the gratitude and appreciation. And that helps me to stay focused on my spiritual evolution because it's not just for healing myself, but it's for healing the world. And so that's what I do.
Good. So this conversation draws a lot of attention. I would say for the last 10 years, many of you are probably aware of The Secret. With The Secret, it began to unfold or open up a new conversation about we having the ability to attract things in our lives. So people have grabbed onto that in a pop way, but they haven't really went a little deeper. And one of the things that The Secret didn't really tell us about, but when you study the origins of where it came from, it talks about emotions, feelings, vibrations. So how does that play in your creative, being a creator or a manifester? How important are feelings, vibrations, emotions? So if you can let's touch on that quickly.
Well, when talking about feelings, vibrations, and emotions, we know we attract what we feel. That's why those affirmations and doing the work to clear that head space is important. Because if I'm walking around swearing that I'm not safe, like, oh, I gotta get this, and that's what I'm gonna attract. I'm gonna attract that anxious, fearful energy.
Even though you saying something positive, but you're feeling anxious. So,
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what I say. You have to feel it. Like, what I say means nothing. My energy is what's gonna live out loud.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's why it's so hard doing the work, because we're trained to grit through it, do what you gotta do, go to work, show up. But if you're not making sure that you have peace and acceptance and good energy around life situations, you're gonna naturally project that fear, unsafe, unsure, you
And that's what
know,
you're asking for.
perspective.
Right.
Yeah,
Your body is asking for that, so the universe gives you what you're asking for.
exactly. Like if you're preparing for sadness, then don't be mad when you got the tools and all the tissue, because that's what you've been talking about.
Come on
Like,
now.
you know what to do. You're expecting to be hurt, so you should have your own tissue ready.
So if I open up your medicine cabinet and I see all these preventative medicines, then that's telling me
I'm
you
expecting to be hurt.
come on now. All right. What you got, Qiana, on that?
Yeah, I feel like same thing, like your energy, your emotions are so important. You know, if you are feeling a certain type of way, that's what you're going to manifest. Manifestation comes from emotions, right? You have to really want that thing deep in your soul. And this is why it's so important to be honest, and hold yourself accountable with what you're creating. People are mad. People are mad, right? Sad. And they're wondering why they're creating these things. Well, I'm doing this manifestation stuff. Yeah, babe, but you are sad and depressed and angry and hurting. And that's how you're feeling. So that's what you're going to keep manifesting. So you have to keep, you have to first be honest. And sometimes you might have to deal with the emotional part before you can even get into the other work. You have to, sometimes get to the root of what's going on inside of you. And that's why the conversations come in. What's this pain body coming up? What's being triggered? You know, so that you can heal. Like we walking around these pain bodies and we're not doing the healing work, and emotions are very important. It's just like when you really want something, you're excited about something, you manifest that thing, right? You really wanted that job, but you didn't get that job. You probably have to check them emotions and feelings. Were you feeling like you really wanted that job? And you probably wasn't. You probably wanted it because maybe you need the money and the job was good. But maybe when you took the interview, you really wasn't feeling it, right?
And maybe you didn't want the job. You probably just wanted the money. And it's not about money. It's about purpose.
Exactly. And you didn't do the work to really get into your feelings, and really express your emotions, because a lot of times we don't express our emotions. And so we keep it all bottled in. And this is when, again, EFT comes into play. You're able to like tap through this stuff and start releasing this stuff so that you can heal and feel, different emotions, so that you can attach positivity onto your affirmations, attach positivity onto your manifestation, whatever it is you're trying to create. You're creating from a space of love. Anything that's created out of fear is going to be chaos and drama, and is garbage. You don't care what it is. I don't care how much money you make, right? You'll lose that. We just talked about that. You'll lose all of that. Your relationship, you'll lose that. So you have to make sure you're doing that healing piece. And I think that it comes back to you, the most important person in your universe, and you have to be authentic and truthful with yourself. Right. You're hurting. And if you're hurting and you're in pain by it, you're not going to manifest out of positivity.
That's right. So one of the spiritual books that I read says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So you can think or affirm all the things you want from your head, but that heart space is where the game of life is won. So this is where we have to control our frequencies and our heart chakra. That's that chakra that makes a big difference. So let me ask you this. Do you help others create their dreams, and how, if so, how do they contact you? How do they get in contact with you?
I definitely am available to help people create their dreams. My Instagram handle is Truth Talks LLC. My website is up and going. It will be in the next week. It's the exact same thing, www.truthtalksllc.com. Right now, I'm still on Facebook as Stephanie R. Nickles. And, I'm available to help people remove that resistance so that they can get to what they truly deserve, not what they're subconsciously used to, not what they're able to manage, but what they really deserve.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, definitely you can find me on all social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram as Holistic Harmony Inc., Mind, Body, and Soul. Also same for the website Holistic Harmony Inc. .biz. I have a 90-day health program called Body Evolution, where we tackle the emotional side of eating, and get your health right. Because everything first starts with us. I also have a private coaching group. It's on Facebook. Um, it's a monthly membership where we tackle the murky depths. We learn everything together. I share all my life in that chat. I tell y'all all my business, okay? But we do spiritual healing. We do emotional freedom technique. I do meditation and yoga inside the group, and we also do different lessons. We just got through finishing our lesson in spiritual partnership. We're moving on to astrology and learning our own birth chart so that we can know how to navigate inside of our relationships and our workspace, and how we can manifest from our own energy, individual energy. And I do one-on-one coaching. I also have a tarot membership, card reading membership, and yeah. So if you want to hit me up, you can. I'm on, and I can do free weekly reads on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. So make sure you follow me and catch me over there.
Awesome. So we're gonna have one more question, but I just want our listening audience and those who are viewing tonight to know that if you want more information about the Masterforce coaching, you can go to masterforceleadershipacademy.com. And from there, you are able to follow all the links. If you're interested in becoming a certified life coach, if you're ready to take that next step and not just manifest this and lose that, but really do the deeper work of manifestation and living your best life. I can think of no better place than joining us here at Masterforce Life Coaching. So here's my question for you guys as we prepare to wrap up. How close are you to having your man, your mate, your money, your dream? Do you have it? Okay, so you got 1 minute. Each of you got 1 minute.
Well, I've done it. I'm living it. I have manifested my money, my woman, and my dreams. I'm living it out. And the biggest question for me is, what am I doing to learn how to keep and create what I deserve and what I've manifested?
Okay. Okay.
So I'm working on that through my healing about how to keep what I deserve and how to learn how to receive it.
Okay.
Yay! I'm so happy. Like in 2017, my world would shake up. I would not even imagine I'd be sitting right here and was quick to volunteer for this topic. I probably would have been like, I just never thunk it. But yes, I have all three. I'm excited to be, I have a man, I have a great partner that pushes me and covers me in a way I've never been pushed and covered before, and supports me. And my money is the best it's been on my own in a while. I don't, I don't have what you call like a traditional 9 to 5, but I'm just an entrepreneur, and I have been building my business, and it's phenomenal and fantastic. I love to be able to wake up every morning and do the things that I do with my clients and with everybody. So it's amazing. I said making money in my sleep, like waking up like somebody some email or something saying I got some money. I don't care if it's 50 cent, child. Okay, my dang on Bitcoin went up, and I was like, yes, $30. Right. I'm one of those people. I celebrate everything small, big. It don't matter, right? So just yeah, money is good. I've been able to get my house out of foreclosure, things like that. It's just it's I have no words of how grateful I am to be sitting here right now. And I feel I'm like I'm in a dream. And I'm at the point now where I'm just creating. I'm just like, yeah, if I don't like something, I get to rewrite it. I get to figure out what's next. And I really love that. And I don't believe in, what do you call it? When you own somebody with property or whatever, possession. I don't believe in own people. Yeah, I'm not possessive with, people. So I'm grateful and appreciative of the love that my current partner gives me right now. And it's not, I'm not attached to that relationship, but I am very grateful for it.
Present to it, and you value it. And that's important. As we prepare to wrap tonight, one of the things we want our audience to know that we don't have attachments to. We want to be able to ride the wave. Season changes, things change. And if you're dealing with people, people change. And guess what? Money change. So as a creator, as a manifester, we always have to be mindful of when this goes, something better will show up.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, I am so excited that you have shared what you've shared and that you're the proof that's in the pudding, that you have manifested your partners, you manifested your money, and you're continuing to cultivate your dreams. Continue to do what you're doing and continue to expand. And I want to welcome our newest Master Force coach, Stephanie. Welcome to the community. Awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any closing words or you guys want to share? Any books you want to recommend? Do you have a favorite
Yeah.
book?
I do. There's an author, his name is Peter, last name starts with SC. It's Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And I'm in a group right now with some ladies and gentlemen reading that book, and it's very empowering, it's freeing, and it's just breaking the cycle of how we've been trained to address spirituality and our spiritual selves. And it's just like giving you permission to be authentic, giving you permission to have a full range of emotions and still be a spiritual person. So I recommend that book for sure and that class.
Okay. So the books that are listed will be available on our interactive page that is online. How about you, Qiana? You have any particular books?
Yeah,
Or
I have three. Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I feel like that's like my holy grail, especially for affirmations and being very specific in your words for healing. Also Spiritual Partnerships. I think it's Gary Zukav or something. I can't probably not
Correct.
And then The Art of Intimacy by Qiana Thompson. Get that intimacy in there, y'all. Get
Awesome.
these relationships right.
Great, great. Well, ladies, great job. It's been a pleasure to be in your presence. And I've really gained so much tonight. Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who watched.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shemsu-t. Yay!